What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? Hope everybody's having a wonderful day. This video has already been edited and it's ready to go to YouTube. Normally, I post them just like this, but since this is my brother in this mayoral debate, I decided I would watch it with y'all and react to it while watching it. So let's just get right into it. And here we go.
As far as experience, I am a scholar of the School of Hard Knocks. Do not be afraid. The time is at hand. The corporate takeover has begun from the top. I'm coming up from the bottom. I am the Alpha and the Omega.
My question is for you, Raymond, is how do you defend all the racist and misogynist comments you've made on Facebook?
How do you defend your hypocrisy? I'm a racial realist. It's a difference between a racist and a realist. I'm just a realist. You are the narrow-minded xenophobe. You're the kind of cop that gave Mississippi a bad name. Aren't you that, Bob
Once
Paul?
again, I'm going to give you one more opportunity.
Aren't you bully Bob Paul?
Mr. Flavis, I'm going to give you one more opportunity to stay on track, okay? Just focus on the question.
That's a disgrace. Really, this town is ill-run, and the folks are just accustomed to it. They're accustomed to less.
Everybody, let's just focus.
You have 30 seconds, sir.
You're done. Okay, thank you.
My son Braden, 17, junior in high school. Drawing a blank now. Miss Kimball, you did this to me, didn't you? Upon graduation, attended the University of Southern Mississippi.
Can
Welcome to the internet, Greg Bonds.
you feel the energy that's about to come up? That's what I'm talking about. We're going to be dancing in the streets, okay? On April Fool's Day, for God's sake. Come on.
Welcome back to the channel, everybody. My brother, Larry Wheelchair Gunnerson, is running for mayor of Long Beach, Mississippi. And on March 1st, 2025, he faced off in the mayoral debate as the ultimate underdog. You see, Larry isn't a politician, but he's a fighter. After a devastating car accident left him paralyzed, doctors said he would never move again. But against all odds, he regained control of his body, although he did not get full control back and would be handicapped for life. Despite relentless doubt and criticism and even ridicule, he got his name on the ballot. The people closest to him wanted him to quit, but he refused to give up. When he told me about the debate, I wasn't sure if it would be worth posting on YouTube. Some city debates can be really boring. But after watching this debate, I was blown away. This debate had everything. An underdog nobody believed in, an opponent accused of racism, and an audience that wasn't afraid to speak up. They openly criticized Larry's opponent, called him out, and even booed him during the debate. Since the stage was not handicap accessible, Larry stood his ground in front of it while his opponent debated from above. But that didn't stop Larry. He answered every question with confidence, earned a standing ovation, and to everyone's surprise, he won the debate. If you're in Long Beach, Mississippi, make sure you're registered to vote. If you want a mayor who truly cares about the city and isn't corrupt, give Larry Wheelchair Gunnerson your vote. Now, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video everywhere, and let's get right to it. Okay, everything that I just said there was factually correct, but there was one tiny error. Everybody was being negative towards him and wanting him to give up, except me. I told him, you better not give up. These are your dreams. Go after them. get rid of all the negative people. And if you quit, you're going to have to answer to me. And he didn't quit. And there he is, right there in that wheelchair, about to debate for the mayor of Long Beach, Mississippi.
Mr. DeFlavis,
Yes.
floor is yours.
Well, I appreciate everybody staying after the main event. And I just want to say, I've been living here 12 years, and I think it's time for change and reform and transparency, openness, no cronyism, no nepotism, free speech and assembly. And also, I'd like to see the municipal court judge replaced because he squeezes people that come before him that can least afford it. He squeezes them like a grape. And I think that's a disgrace. I'd also like to see a change with the police chief. I'd like to see a younger man, because that's a physically and intellectually exhausting job. I'd like to see a much younger man within the department promoted. Just like Napoleon used to have his soldiers carry a marshal's baton in their knapsack because they knew they could be promoted at any time. I think that one person can make a difference and everyone should try. I saw how the good old boys literally shut down the mics and the pleas from local doyens at the city council meeting regarding the felling of a 200-year-old plus tree on the main drag. That would never happen in my administration, never. And I thought it was politically dumb. The good old boys have been promoting the idea of a casino for 15 years, while we have to drive 35 minutes into Gulfport for quality groceries. The Quarles house, that has to be audited. $2 million for millionaires, handouts to millionaires. And that Quarles house is supposed to be a visitor center to see what? What tourist attractions do we have? That was just to pay off political campaign favors for this current administration, because all of George Bass's donors were either contractors or developers.
Mr. DeFlavis, I will tell you, we're not making accusations towards any person. So
Well, that can be,
I understand, but
That can be
don't direct-
fact-checked.
I understand, but don't direct that towards any person.
yeah, we have a canal tax. I don't know how many of you haven't paid off your mortgage yet, but we're the only town on the coast, and I called all the towns from Alabama, Florida, Mississippi, Louisiana, and nobody has anything like this, and it's something right out of a John Grisham novel. They've got a corrupt law, they've got a law firm overseeing this, and they won't tell us what kind of fees they're getting to oversee this canal tax. And I asked the city controller,
15 seconds.
how much they're charging taxpayers, and even she didn't know.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Laris?
Hello. Well, I'll start off by saying, do not be afraid. The time is at hand. The corporate takeover has begun from the top. I'm coming up from the bottom. I am the Alpha and the Omega. Donald Trump is the MAGA. We will fix everything. The corporations are going to pay for it. That's why they call it the corporate takeover.
I want to add one more thing I forgot to say earlier. My brother Larry is my hero. I mean, nobody's been through more than he has and overcome more than him. And I just wanted to say that. I'm not sure what he meant about the Donald Trump thing, because you all know I don't get into politics or pick sides on this channel. So I don't know.
Is that good?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, we'll get to questions. Question one.
Okay. Mr. Flavis, first question will be for you. What policies should the mayor support to promote economic growth?
Well, I think economic growth is at a standstill since Katrina, more than 20 years ago. I think the good old boys have been promising a casino. Casinos are purveyors of misery. And I think there should be another vote, another plebiscite, because the last one was not well publicized, and I believe that that's a form of voter suppression. As far as
I do agree with him there. Casinos are a form of misery, but I don't want the government telling me that I can't gamble if I don't want to. I feel like anyone should have their free choice whether they want to gamble or not. If you don't want to gamble, don't go down there. Period. End of discussion. I don't want the government telling me what to do about anything.
bringing in new business, well, I'm only one of, 8 votes. The Long Beach has, a system that in civics class, they taught us was a weak mayor, strong council. So I can propose, but I can't dictate. But what I can promise you is transparency, because I'm not part of this hydra they've got here. I'm not part of that. And old families, where I grew up, that means nothing. And here it means a little too much.
Mr. Laird?
Would you like me to repeat the question for you?
What was the question?
Yeah, let me read that for you. Okay, what policies should the mayor support to promote economic growth here in Long Beach?
We need good things in the city that create positive energy. A casino is a bad idea. We can bring all the stores to Long Beach and keep our money in Long Beach. Would be the greatest thing we could do. Instead of, like you said, going 35 minutes out of town to go get something, we should have a store in town that sells it, right? So, as far as economic growth, I think just positive things. We're going to build a bowling alley, or we can movie theater, or we can make this a place to live and a place people want to come to and celebrate good times and have positive light on.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next question.
Next question goes to Mr. Gunnarsson. What do you see as the biggest opportunity for growth in Long Beach and why?
The biggest opportunity for growth is we turn our love lights on and we're just going to grow, just the way it is. Positive energy.
Welcome people with open arms. I like it. Remember, y'all, my brother ain't a politician. He's 50-something years old. This is just something he wanted to do, and he's passionate about it.
Mr. DeFlavis?
Could you repeat the question?
Sure. What do you see as the biggest opportunity for growth?
And if he's not passionate about it, this could be the greatest troll ever accomplished.
In Long Beach and why?
I think the biggest opportunity for growth is transparency and getting away from the good old boys and getting away from nepotism. and getting the zoning department on the stick.
Question 3.
This is for Mr. Gunderson. What qualifications and experience do you have that would make you the best choice for mayor?
I have a degree from the University of Southern Mississippi in business management. As far as experience, I am a scholar of the School of Hard Knocks, and I know what pain is, and there's only one way to get rid of it, and that's to accept the truth, and let's do what we gotta do to just save the rest of the world. The light starts on right here, and we're going that way. Positive energy, and we can do it.
Mr. DeFlavis?
Yes. Could you repeat the question?
Yes,
Certainly,
ma'am.
sir. What qualifications and experience do you have that would make you qualified to be the
I
mayor?
have clean hands. I'm not part of this corruption that you all have down here. I'm not going to promise pay raises when I don't know where the money's coming from.
Okay. Now the question from Griffin.
This is for Mr. Gunderson. Do you believe that the mayor should promote youth leadership groups in City Hall?
Say that again.
Do you believe that the mayor should promote youth leadership groups in City Hall?
Yeah. I think, I'm really disappointed that we don't have baseball fields and soccer fields in town. I mean, they are, the space, they're like over here. We should play over here and not way out north in County Farm. That loses business for the city of Long Beach. Everybody ends up going for pizza over on 49 or something. If we had those kinds of places in town, then people would spend their money in town, right?
Thank you. Mr. DeFlavis?
Again,
Do you believe that the mayor should promote youth leadership groups in City Hall?
I believe the mayor should make an effort to open the tennis courts that only a handful of youngsters on the tennis team are now permitted to use. And I understand the money to build those courts came from FEMA funds. Everyone should be able to use those tennis courts. None of this elitism. We should strive for more egalitarianism.
Thank you. Next question.
All right, this is for Mr. DeFlavis. How will you communicate with the school district?
I think the school board is a rubber stamp for the school district. I think the schools are very woke down here. And it's not just something that happens in Oakland or San Francisco. This school system is very woke. And they're keeping it from parents and grandparents. I read a fella named Boynton. Some of you probably know him. Richard, not Carl, his brother, writes a lot on social media. And he talks about how he can't relate to his children and his grandchildren. That's because the schools are woke. And people on the school board, they may be Republicans, but they're rhinos. They're not MAGA, and they're not Trump conservatives. They may look good in a golf shirt. They might look great on the links. But, I heard so much about this fella, like he worked for Stennis. I thought he was a rocket scientist. Turns out he was an accountant.
Okay.
How will you communicate with the school district?
The school district. there are some things that are going to change when it comes to school. I don't like that it's built like a prison. I understand why. I understand the fear. That's a tough thing to try to change. But I also agree with him that the facility should be open for the public. Like, I went down there and tried to get on the football field one day and I got run off. You know, isn't that our football field?
Okay, we're going to have some live audience questions. Mr. Carpenter?
Here we go.
Sure. My name is Chris Hankins. My question is for you, Raymond, is how do you defend all the racist and misogynist comments you've made on Facebook?
How do you defend your hypocrisy? I'm a racial realist. Not a, it's a difference between a racist and a realist. Do you want to be do you want Long Beach to look like Moss Point? Do you want Long Beach to look like Pascagoula?
Okay, you guys, he's talking about Moss Point and Pascagoula, which has a very large African American community. And compared to Long Beach, where they're at right now and where he's running for mayor, there's not a very large black community. So that is definitely racist.
Pascagoula must have been a beautiful town at one time. I took the drive in, but it's a mess. It's a wreck. And what do people mean when they say, is it a good neighborhood? What are they saying? What is that exactly a metaphor? Is this a safe neighborhood? What does that mean? Think about it.
My name is Craig DeRoche. I'm a retired Long Beach police officer, and my question is for this man right here, Mr. DeFlavas. Have you ever been arrested?
I was arrested for holding a sign, and I'm proud of that because I'm a free speech absolutist. And people like you is who gave Mississippi burning, you know.
So, y'all, I did my research on this guy, and as you can see, I added that photo. He was arrested for holding a sign. His rights were violated by Long Beach or Gulfport, and I hope that this man sued Long Beach or Gulfport, whoever it was that arrested him. I hope he sued their pants off. And a lot of the things that I see about this guy, I like I even saw some things on his Facebook page where he was recording police. But when you talk about this whole racism thing, man, I lose all respect for him. And here you can say here you can see he's saying more things that people could relate to racism.
Such high numbers of viewers, okay? You are from the old school. You are from the old school. You are the xenophobe. I'm just a realist. You are the narrow-minded xenophobe. You're the kind of cop that gave Mississippi a bad name.
Mr. DeFlavas,
Yes.
let's focus on the topic and not into the audience. You have a small window. I'd like to see you use it for the best answers. Okay,
Sure.
thank you.
Okay, we have a question.
Good afternoon, Mr. Raymond DeFlavas. My name is Bob Paul. I'm the Parks and Recreation Director here for the city. One of the questions I had has already been asked. You talked about transparency. Well, I know you tried to touch on your social media page here, but I've looked at it several times. You've got several racist comments on there, attacks on women, attacks on police officers, civil service employees, anybody else who doesn't agree with your ideology. You've threatened several civil service employees, including myself, that you would fire them the day you got into office with no just cause, just because you wanted to say it. I'd like to know why you always refer to all of our locals here as uneducated buffoons, rednecks, hillbillies, and a bunch of other inappropriate names. Running for mayor, I don't believe that is appropriate. I don't know how you expect to get support from anybody in this community with that kind of language and that approach for the city. So do you really believe you're qualified to run for this position in the city of Long Beach?
Aren't you the parks director that senior citizens complained about to me personally?
that's your
That you
thought
bully
process.
them? Aren't you that, Bob
Once
Paul?
again, I'm going to give you one more
Thank you,
opportunity.
Ray.
Aren't you bully Bob Paul?
Mr. Flavis, I'm going to give you one more opportunity to stay on track, okay? Just focus on the question.
Do we have any other questions? Live questions? Okay,
I just want to say one thing in answer to
not
him.
directed towards one person, directed towards the idea.
That's fine. If any senior citizens gets bullied in this senior center, I want them to know they can come to me.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr.
On
Flavis.
that note, we will conclude this. We appreciate you guys taking your time. And Mr. Gunderson, you have the floor to close.
This is the most important election in the history of the world, I believe. I need all of you to come out and vote. Every single citizen that is eligible to vote needs to go register to vote and come vote. This is a very, very important election, and I like everything that I heard from everybody that spoke today. Okay? We can do it. We all think we are all on the same wavelength. Can you feel the energy that's about to come up? That's what I'm talking about. We're going to be dancing in the streets, okay? On April Fool's Day, for God's sake. Come on.
Thank you, Mr. Gunderson. Mr. DeFlavis, the floor is yours.
Well, the first thing I do before I fired Bob Paul and the
Don't
chief of police,
do not direct that towards a single person, sir. You got, that's the last warning.
I would audit the city, inside audit and an outside independent audit. I think that's overdue, and I don't think any of the other candidates would ask for something like that, because they're all tied in. They're all tied in. And I don't, you know, it irks me that there aren't any guardrails. This isn't normal. You know, there's canals all over the place and ditches, and there's no guardrails. It's like the people that run the city don't care about the residents. And I got to drive 35 minutes to Gulfport into the ghetto to get some decent quality groceries. That's a disgrace. Really, this town is ill-run, and the folks are just accustomed to it. They're accustomed to less.
Everybody, let's just focus.
You have 30 seconds, sir.
You're done. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Flavis.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, very much.